triggering change one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Hello everyone, I'm your host Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo Fiber Radio, and just making sure you have a pulse as we sit here and we just reflect on our Declaration of Independence and finally living free. I'm your host, Watson Prunier of Battle for Freedom, and I'm going to do the best that I can to let us focus on what freedom looks like and so much more. But I don't know if you're free from a lot of the national chains of what they call coffee out there, but I'm telling you that there's a better brand than the stuff that's out there. That you've been probably ingesting this disgusting sewer water, and you haven't had the experience of historically great coffee by American Pride Roasters Coffee. Listen, American Pride Roasters Coffee is not only historically great coffee, but it's also the official coffee of Mojo Fiber Radio, and we appreciate them and just the service they provide, the great product that they provide. American Pride Roasters Coffee. When you need to be free, who needs a Boston Tea Party when you have American Pride Roasters Coffee? Take a look at them, and trust me, you won't go wrong. Another sponsor we have, because we appreciate every last one of them, is New Life Holistic, where Anthony Malchiotti works with everyone who's gone through a wide variety of different ailments, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, it doesn't matter what it is. There's a wide variety of different tools available to him that he uses in using biofeedback therapy to work with people to get them retuned, resynced back into a functional life. And there's a testimony, a wide variety of people who have testified to its effectiveness and how great it works. Go to newlifeholistic.com. Let Anthony know that I had sent you, Watson from Battle for Freedom. If you want to know many of the other shows that are available to you, you can go to mojo50.com/schedule and see the shows that are available to you on this network. If you want to interact with this program, you can go to, hopefully you catch it in time. You can go to facebook.com/Battle for Freedom. There I see Trisha, I see Heidi, I see Lep. This is great. Thank you for being part of the program as we do this. So today I'm going to talk to you again. Today I'm going to talk to you about this whole idea of this. Oh my goodness, my brain fade is not working really well here. Today I want to talk to you about the whole idea of our Declaration of Independence. And throughout this broadcast, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different stories. And as we sit here and we look at this, I would like you to do me a favor on this. And I want us to really think on what it is that we have here. For those of us who live in America, for those of us who have the blessed opportunity to wake up every day not worrying about, there's a lot of terrorism that we have to worry about and corruption in our government right now. But there are a lot of people who don't have the freedoms that we enjoy, and sometimes I think that we take for granted in this country. And I'm asking us to really consider this, because every last one of us is being called to war. Every last one of us is being called to step up to the plate and do what is necessary to affect change and to affect liberty for everyone in here. And yes, I will say happy birthday, America, just like Lep did. And I'm praying that we will even take it further, and I'll explain more when we get to the end before we get to the end of the broadcast. But it's a lot of different things. Again, Battle for Freedom is about the idea that there's a lot of us, and including myself, we have these perspectives, we have these worldviews, we have these ideologies, we have these ideas and concepts of what life is and what life should be like, or we have expectations of what life should be. We sometimes have a level of entitlement in our lives, and we believe that things should be better, and we're tired of the nonsense. So one of the big things going on right now, and again, just work with me, please. Do not get angry with me. I'm not hating on this gentleman. I appreciate all his work. He has a lot of great content. But there's this issue where Tim Allen is basically saying it has no relationship to Buzz. Tim Allen slams new Lightyear movie after the conservative star was replaced with Chris Evans in Disney film that flopped in opening weekend. Allen criticized it, and says he was the original voice of the first four original Toy Story films from 1995 all the way up to 2019, aside Tom Hanks, who was the voice of Woody. He said he was in discussions about a movie for his character. He was eventually dropped by a new team heading the project, and it flopped in this first weekend in theaters, with the new spinoff earning only $51 million as an American flop. It comes after comedian Allen had his sitcom Last Man Standing canceled by ABC in 2017. See, here's the thing about it that we run into, and thank you, Amy and Josh and Jill, for joining and being part of the program. Here's the thing that's going to be really interesting about this. We know that Hollywood is liberal. We know that there is this agenda right now to change everything. And I think that a lot of us were acting like we're Superman or some kind of superhero, and there's this fast-moving train that's going off the track, and we're jumping in front of the fast-moving train, trying to slow it down and keep it from falling off the track. But we're going off the track. The track is out there. There are no materials to replace. We don't have the Green Lantern's ring to basically simulate a track and put it in place of what's broken and missing. God has stripped away all of our superpowers to try and allow this thing to take its course, because the only way that you have the train staying on the track, the only way you have the train righted, is it has to be God who does some supernatural work to put something. Either he shrinks the distance between the gap in the space where the tracks are missing, or he turns around and he just puts new tracks there. Or he just basically supernaturally just says, I'm going to carry the track across as though there were a track. I'll bring the train across. Either way, there's a lot that we're doing. And I guess I know that it bothers Tim with all the hard work that he has done in this. Tim, you did a wonderful job as Buzz Lightyear. Can I free you from the frustrations of what's going on there? Yes. You did an amazing job. Your skills are just amazing, Tim. But free yourself from the burden of believing that you have to right the wrongs being done here. There's the direction that's happening with Disney, with ABC, and a lot of the mainstream medias. We know, we've seen this. They don't want to turn back. I mean, think about this. A week ago, one of the biggest decisions in America taking place. Life, that we made a big decision for life, and there are a lot of people who are literally losing their minds. So that is the mentality that you're fighting. Many of your co-stars that you've maybe not in Toy Story, but maybe in other movies, are fighting against your position for life. So really, can we really make any big difference in reference to what's happening with these movies? The only way we do it is we come out with our own movies, sign up, join up with a lot of the other Christians and who are out there who are doing their film, speak with Sam and Kevin Sorbo and what they're doing in their Sorbo films. Nick Searcy has things out. The Kendrick brothers and what they're doing with the amazing work that they're doing. They have another movie, I believe, coming out this October. But it's time for us to realize that a lot of these networks, they have an agenda and they don't want to change. They don't want to change the direction of the ship and the direction of the train. So we have to free ourselves and walk away it's just a futile battle. It's a futile battle, because the only thing that's going to change people, the only thing that's going to change hearts is the Spirit of God. That is the only thing that's going to change. Lord help us. Lord help us. So there was another one I saw. This one was pretty sad. again, as I'm watching these articles and I'm like, who in the world are the people who are coming up with this stuff? Who are the people who are coming up with this stuff? And I realize the goal is to keep people in bondage. The goal is to keep people in bondage. And this is what I saw here. Daily Wire. Well, not even bondage. This is actually freedom. Do I want to say this for? No, I'm going to read this one early instead of waiting. So good news. Daily Wire is doing amazing. And they basically, the Daily Wire is near, 1 million subscribers now. And they decided to add Jordan Peterson to their network. I say congratulations to the Daily Wire. Peterson, an interesting voice. From what many of us are believing is that he has become a Christian. He's following Christ. I mean, that's a better decision for him more so than the Daily Wire picking him up. But I think this will be very interesting to see what is going to happen when Peterson joins, whose Twitter account was just canceled just because of the fact that he called someone by their gender assigned at birth, and they didn't like it. Folks, we shouldn't be surprised. And I'm letting you know, we shouldn't be surprised. Every last one of us can be canceled at any moment. And what we need to do is we need to bolster up the conservative, maybe it doesn't have to be conservative, but we have to find a platform that is literally unbiased, is respectful, and allows you to share what you need to and get it done. And guess what? Some of these ones you're going to have to pay for. It's no longer free. We've enjoyed doing stuff for free for so long. It's time for us to put our money where our mouth is. Again, support the Sorbo films. Support the Kendrick Brother films. Support what Nick Searcy, what Daily Wire, and many of them are doing. Support them. If we want to basically hit them hard, like just how Netflix lost 200,000 subscribers, really start hitting them hard in the wallet. Invest in other stuff that you believe in. Period. That's the decision that you have to make. And I leave that to you to decide on where you're going to go with that. Not only that, we have, this one. Oh my goodness, this one, another Forbes article. And this is the one again about being free. Because you have to understand that there is this desire to keep people in bondage to ideologies of disaster and bond. Here you go. The 3 biggest implications for black women from the Roe v. Wade fall. This is an article written on Forbes on January 26. What? Oh, well, so this is the picture that they did. Sorry. The Supreme Court lands card description on Friday to overturn Roe v. Wade will fundamentally shift how black women access abortion service in the United States. Now, what I'm about to read to you shouldn't be surprising. Unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of people that they don't want to hear the truth, even the very condemning numbers that I'm about to share with you. This article says so much, it's not funny. Black women received 38% of reported abortions in 2019, the largest portion of any racial group, according to the latest data from the Centers of Disease and Control. So this is from the CDC. This is from the CDC that we love and that we appreciate. But this should be alarming. Because blacks represent, and that's just blacks in general, only represent 13% of the population. So 13% of the population has had more than 1/3 of the abortions. 13% of the population has had more than 1/3 of the abortions in the United States. That is alarming. That is sanctioned If you ever wanted to know about black people dying, genocide, systemic racism, no. This is systemic homicide. This is systemic homicide. You should be alarmed when you sit here talking about white privilege and everything like that. Well, black privilege is dying. But you want equal representation. Ketanji Brown is now the first black female president, female Supreme Court justice. What was it? Marie Campier or whatever her name is. She's the first black and gay White House press secretary. Kamala Harris is the first black female vice president. Barack Obama was the first black president. But how can you put more people in positions? You want representation in corporate America, but you keep killing your own people. Long before they get out of the womb, you are killing them. 38%? That's more than a third. That's almost 2 out of 5 black children are killed every day in the womb. You kidding me? You should be disgusted. You should be free, but right now you got the likes of Samuel Jackson and Whoopi Goldberg and Wanda Sykes insulting Clarence Thomas. Insulting this nation when people are losing right to kill yourself. I remember when I was serving for Right to Life of Indianapolis a long time ago when I was over at the RCA Dome was still here, and we were it was during the Black Expo. Yeah. They actually have a weeks-long celebration of black people here in Indianapolis. The showings have been diminishing greatly over the years. But I remember there was a young black guy I was talking to. He was cool. He had a really cool outfit on. He was looking pretty dapper. And I said, "Hey man, can I have a conversation with you?" And so we just talked about, so I said, "Did you know that, because even back then, it was about 33% or 34%, 35% of the women having abortions in the country were black." I said, when a black woman has an abortion, I said, "What color is the baby who's in her womb?" And he thought about it for a second, and the light came on. I said, "That's right. She's black. He's black. That baby that's being aborted." He had never been presented that before. I don't know if it made a difference in his life. I'm praying it did. But we need to be freed from this. Because look at the people who are arguing for this. The liberals are arguing for more black people to die. Effectively allows states to restrict and criminalize abortions at their discretion. The decision carries a variety of healthcare and economic and even data privacy implications that will weigh mostly heavily on black women in states with the most restrictive. Why does it have to focus heavily on black women? If we represent 13% of the population, and then we have to decide what 60% of 13% is the population of black women in our country. So that means what? So you would say, let's say that the 13% of our population were, say, 100,000 or 100 million people, 100 million blacks in this country. That means 780,000, let's say it was 130 million. 130 million were the number of blacks in this country. That means that 78 million black women. 78 million black women would be affected by this decision. 78 million black women would be going to have abortions. This is so sad. Healthcare. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications. And you know what? And I've had some black women share that data with me. But you have to ask yourself, why is it that it's happening in these things here? You know, black people, what's one of the biggest things that they suffer on an occasional? What is it? High cholesterol, high blood pressure, high sugar intake, and diabetes. Everything related to their diet. Everything related to their diet. When you see the physical ailments that black people experience, it's because of poor diet. I would tell you, and it's probably proven, that the biggest ailments that's killing black people is poor dieting. Not even guns. Not even cops. It's poor diet. So the reason why they may have complications in the birthing process is because of the fact that they're not taking care of their bodies. And instead of sitting around and turning around and actually investing in their community, investing in better doctors in their community and better clinics and everything like that, no, they put all their money in Hennessy. They put all their money in bling. They put their all money in spinning rims and everything. Yeah, I'm going there. They don't want to manage their money. They don't want to budget. They don't want to listen to the likes of a white man called Dave Ramsey to tell them to get a budget. They want to sit here and twerk on cop cars in Chicago and D.C. and around the world to basically protest the death of a black man. A lot of booty shaking and grinding and everything like that. What is that? Before you got killed in the womb, before you got killed by gak, your conscience was seared. You bet you walked away from the word of God that was provided to you by God, and you turn around and sit here and say, I don't want to follow a white man's religion. I don't want to subject myself to that stuff. I don't want to follow that stuff. I want to be free. I want to booty shake. I want to sell drugs. I want to cap, and get my check from the government. Yes, I'm going there because I'm trying to free you. This is how they think of you. They want to kill you, and they're sitting here telling you, well, you know what? Why is it you don't have the proper health care to have these kids? How about we start looking at what your lifestyle is like? Economic. One of the first attempts to examine the educational and economic effects of abortion legalization, including by race, came in 1996 working paper by researchers Joshua Angrist and William Evans. Among their findings, at least 22% point increase in the likelihood that black teenage women will graduate high school, and at least 23% point increase in their probability of attending college if they had an abortion. So you guys sit here and ask, well, why are they getting pregnant at young ages? Let's look at BET. Let's look at our rap videos. Where the rap boys are sitting there talking about them, these rap girls being skanks and hoes and sex toys. So they don't have time to study because they're too busy basically getting knocked up by a brother who has no intention of taking care of them and the child. But we don't have that discussion. Because we want them to get to the vote. We want them to get to the vote for the Democrats who keep them in bondage and poor and knocked up. Data privacy. It gets aggressively. If states get aggressively in prosecuting women who get abortions, the crackdown may fall heaviest on the group likely to seek abortion: black women. There's so much more I want to talk about, folks. Let's go to a break because my blood is starting to boil. Because it's so sad they're not fighting to live and be free. I'm your host, Watson, bringing you in from Battle for Freedom. Let's go to a break and I'll talk to you on the flip side. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Romans 10:14 through 17. How then will they call on him who they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him of whom they have never heard? And how are they to hear without someone preaching? And how are they to preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed what he has heard from us? So faith comes from hearing, and hearing through the word of Christ. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. I share these passages with you because of the fact that we know John 3:16. We probably barely hear Romans 10:14 through 17. And most doubtedly we never hear 2 Corinthians 5:17. Life as a believer in Christ requires change. So to make a decision for Christ, we recognize that there is something wrong in our lives and we need to do different. We need to be better, but we can't be better on our own strength. So we hear the gospel message, moved by the Spirit of God, and we respond. I ask you now, if you've heard the message, please respond and live for his glory. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prenay from Battle4Freedom on Battle4Freedom Radio. As I sit here talking about our Declaration of Independence and finally living free, we have to make some serious changes in our lives if we really want to see America move in the right direction. And it just doesn't start with the people up top. It really starts with the people on the bottom. Every last one of us has an obligation, has an opportunity right now to show what living free looks like. And we make our Declaration of Independence. Thank you, Brandon, Paula, Carolyn, and Carrie for joining and being part of this. So before the break, I got very animated talking about the whole idea how Forbes is arguing that changing Roe v. Wade is making it impossible for black people to kill themselves. That right there should be one of the biggest reasons why black people should be celebrating right now. You should be celebrating that it's not so easy for you to go off and kill a population. What would happen, actually? What would the black community look like if you really started putting back in biblical, true Christian biblical principles back into the families in these communities and really started getting them to respect life? The gackers will stop shooting and capping one another, killing one another, and turn around and realize that they are free. They don't have to abide by these deadly ideologies, these deadly ways of living that has just been deadly to the community at large. That the decision is yours on whether or not you want to abide by this, but the facts, the data is there. And you are living in direct ignorance. Your head is shoved so far up your rear that you're snorting crap on a daily basis. If you don't recognize it, it's not whites that are killing blacks, it's blacks. They're dying faster in the abortion mills like Planned Parenthood. And then after that, it's by one another who are killing everybody off. I'm surprised that the population is 13% and not 1.3%. Let's move away from that. So this is an interesting one because this is also to free you guys off of here. Travelers, brace for the worst July 4th weekend ever getaway ever. More than 1,000 Delta pilots picket at airports, and 75,000 American airline passengers have had flights canceled in the past 48 hours. There's a record 42 million are set to hit the road. Now, I'm not saying you can't vacation. I'm not saying that you can't get away and enjoy the freedom stuff that you've planned, but I just want to ask you, where's the money coming from? Right now, many of you are living, or many of us are living, stimulus check to stimulus check. We're hoping that the government writes another check of free money so that we can just buy that thing we've always wanted. And people have been dying on these vacations. Shark attacks, muggings, gas explosions, chemicals put in the area. And I'm not trying to be a fear monger here, but priorities. We're at high inflation and everything like that, and people are taking to the airport like there is no gas problem. They're taking to the airport like there's no food shortage. They're taking to the airport like there's not going to be any kind of energy crisis or anything like that. Let's just get out there and just do the best that we can right now and just enjoy life as best as we possibly can. And all that money that you spent on vacation could have gone to storing up and shoring up for your home and for your resources when everything goes bad. You know what? We were sitting on the best economy in the world before the pandemic hit. People were making money hand over foot. But 4 months before the pandemic hit, Americans spent $1.4 billion, I believe it was, on Black Friday. On one day. On Black Friday, spent $1.4 billion as though nothing was ever going to happen. And 6 months later, they were expecting and hoping for a check from the government to help them deal with the economy shut down, and I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. We're about to walk into another pandemic. We've already heard that they're saying that 2 new variants from the UK are starting to hit the United States, and monkeypox is on the rise, and so much more. We're about to go through another lockdown phase. We have a president who's willing to keep us in lockdown perpetually, in perpetuity or perpetuity, whatever it is. That this is what's going to be happening. And people are just like, oh, let's go on vacation. Let's just go do whatever we want. Let's go have fun. You know, people got desperate when there was no food on the shelves. People got desperate. We've documented over, 175 to 110 food processing places have been destroyed in the last 9 months, in the last year. Oh, let's go on vacation. Let's pay extra for stuff. Well, we'll never get there. We'll never get there if we don't do it now. The sad part about it is that people are going to be compromised. What will you do for a bowl of soup in the coming months, in the coming years? Because you wanted to have fun. That's your choice. Do as you see fit. But it's time to be free. This is an interesting one where people were frustrated that this was a decision done. Supreme Court, another decision that's been Supreme Court on another huge decision that has affected this administration and has affected the alarmists. Supreme Court's limits Biden's power to cut emissions. The landmark ruling by the Supreme Court represents a major setback to President Joe Biden's climate plans. He called it a devastating decision, but said it would not undermine his effort to tackle the climate crisis. The case against the EPA was brought by West Virginia on behalf of 18 other, mostly Republican-led states and some of the nation's largest coal companies. They argued that the agency did not have the authority to limit emissions across the whole states. These 19 states were worried their power sectors would be forced to move away from coal at a severe economic cost. In a 6-3 ruling, the court sided with the conservative states and fossil fuel companies, agreeing that the EPA did not have the authority to impose such sweeping measures. I love this because this is the BBC. Conservative states, you know that there are Democrat states that make money on coal as well too. There are Democratic states that make money on coal as well too, but they've got to push it out as the fossil fuel companies and the conservatives, those deadly, evil red people. See, right now, and I'm not gonna lie to you, we have too much of a dependence on coal and these other different things, and we need to start looking at what life looks like without these things here. Make no mistake, this may be a short win. This may be a short win, but they're not going to give up. And we need, instead of being on vacation, we need to be setting our homes up and ready for other means of powering our homes when we don't have anything else. What is it, $8,400, $8,600 for a family to go to Disney World? $8,400, near $10,000 to go to Disney World? That's half the cost of basically setting up your home with solar. Half the cost. But we don't care because we're just going to go out and have fun. Let's go to another one. Because as I share this stuff with you, you have to understand that there's a bunch of people who are pushing nonsense. And these are supposed to be the intelligent people. These are supposed to be the degreed individuals who have all the knowledge in the world, and we're just a bunch of dumb hicks who don't know what we're talking about. Wildfires may have sparked Earth. This is on Daily Mail. Wildfires may have sparked Earth's largest mass extinction event, new research reveals. The Permian mass extinction, which took place about 248 million years ago, may have been caused in part by widespread wildfires. The potential for wildfires is a direct extinction driver during the hyperthermal events, rather than the symptom of climate change deserves further examination, researchers say. Scientists examine fossil and plant charcoal records of the Sydney and Bowen basins in eastern Australia and Antarctica in order to gain new insights. Wait. I thought it was the meteorites that took out the dinosaurs. That was the largest extinction level event. Now it's a fire, a big lighter started the largest extinction level event. They can't even get their stuff right. Curtis says he's just going to put his wife and kids on the treadmill for power. Thank you for the idea. Thank you for the idea. Yeah, exactly. Fear equals control. That's right, Deborah. Or Debbie. That's so correct. Is LEP. Those fires are started by the meteorite. I mean, no, it was a forest fire. They can't get their stuff together. Oh, my goodness. Time to be free. Let's move on to another one, because I have something more important I want to do here. This is just, let's go to this other one here. Internet pioneer warns the metaverse has the potential to be the most dangerous technology since the invention of nuclear weapons, and people like Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg could use it to brainwash whole populations. Brian Schuster, founder of the Utherverse, warns how people can misuse the metaverse for their own benefit. Says that people can use it to brainwash whole populations, basically putting them under the control of a puppet master. It's already there. Why do you think that they use the social media platforms like Facebook, Google, YouTube, to control what you can say about your political opponents, and specifically